is to stand up and talk for my rights. I know what that is. See? And I don't care who the guy is. Because my right is my right.
Welcome to Ask the Lawyer with Brian Figueroa of the law firm of Figueroa and Associates for a free, no obligation legal consultation on issues such as immigration, personal injury, bankruptcy, divorce, family law, estate planning, wills and probate, deed transfers, civil rights, criminal defense, workers' compensation, and taxes, both individual and business. Call us at 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. Or visit us at www.askthelawyer.us. That's www.askthelawyer.us. This is Ask the Lawyer. You have questions, we got the answers.
Hello, my name is Deandra Archibald, and I am an attorney. I work in the field of workers' compensation, and I would like to educate you today regarding what to do if you are injured on the job. So, if you are injured on the job in an accident setting, which means you're on the job working in your ordinary course of the day and you slip and fall, or if you're on a construction site and a beam falls on you, or you stub your toe. It can be any kind of accident, even commuting to work. There are special instances where commuting to work, if you're injured commuting to work, you can also file a workers' compensation claim. But if you have an accident on the job, a lot of people, are not familiar with workers' compensation and don't know where to start. The first thing to do is to notify your employer. You have 30 days to give notice to your employer, but of course, the sooner the better. Trust me, I work with the employers also, and they will controvert, which means deny. They will deny the claim and jump to do so if you did not notify your employer within the first 7 days. Even though the law gives you 30 days, you have to notify your employer right away, because it just looks bad if you have an injury and then you wait 30 days to tell your employer about the injury. The second thing to do is to get treatment. After you notify your employer right away, make sure you seek medical treatment. Urgent care is often the best place to start if you get injured that day and you do not feel like going to a hospital. Then just take yourself to urgent care. If the injury is very serious, have your employer call emergency services and take you to the hospital. If it is not, and you can take yourself to urgent care, do so. If you have a primary care provider that you normally see on a regular basis and you're more familiar with that primary care provider and you know that they will see you the same day, then that's also an option. But contemporaneous medical evidence is very important. Okay, and you want to make sure that you tell your medical provider that you had an accident on the job. If they leave that information out, the insurance carrier will also try to controvert the claim that way. And again, controvert means to deny. So just to make sure you have all of your ducks in a row and you want things done the right way and you want to make sure that you're compensated, you have to follow these steps. The next thing to do, if you don't do that first, is to call your lawyer. Okay? The number to call is 855-768-8845. Again, 855-768-8845. And why it's important to contact your attorney right away is because you want to make sure, if you have to stay out of work due to your injury, you want to make sure that you are compensated for it. And often you will receive some information in the mail once the claim is filed from the insurance carrier, and you may not know how to fill it out. You want to make sure you fill out those documents in the right way to make sure that you are compensated. You may need an attorney for that. Most of the time, they start off the case with a hearing, and you will want an attorney to represent you at that hearing, because trust me, the insurance carrier will have their attorney there to represent them. So you don't want to go, there and represent yourself if you don't know anything about workers' compensation law. And the best part about it is you don't have to pay the attorney out of pocket. You never, ever give a workers' compensation attorney any money out of pocket. They only get paid if there is money moving to you from the insurance carrier at a workers' compensation hearing, and they get out of that money from the insurance carrier moving. Why is it important to file a workers' compensation claim? Well, as you know, living in New York, the state of New York, I won't even say the city, it's very expensive. And if you're out of work, you don't want to lose sleep overnight wondering how are your bills going to get paid and how are your medical bills going to get paid and how are you going to feed your family and pay your rent or your mortgage or whatever else it is while you're trying to heal. So under the workers' compensation law, if you're injured and you're out of work for more than 7 consecutive days, you can get paid. You can get paid 2/3 of your average weekly wage, and that is tax-free money. Also, your medical expenses related to this injury that you received on the job will be paid for in full. If you need surgery, if you need physical therapy, chiropractic care, diagnostic tests, which is, an x-ray, an MRI, a CT scan, all of that is paid for. If you need crutches, if you need sometimes transportation to and from your medical provider, that can also be paid for. If you need medication, if you need injections, whatever it is, as long as it relates to that injury on the job, you will have that paid for in full. You do not have to pay a copay and you do not use your regular insurance. When you're initially injured and you go to that first medical appointment, especially if you go to the hospital, remember that you do not give them your private insurance. You make sure and tell them that this is a work-related injury. They are to bill the insurance carrier. So if you have any questions regarding your workers' compensation claim, please give us a call today. The telephone number is 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. This pertains to your injury being old or new. I just discussed if you have a new injury, what to do. But if you also had an existing workers' compensation claim and you never received any compensation for it, you can also give us a call. There's another component of workers' comp besides you getting your medical paid for and your wages paid at that 2/3 rate. If you injure an extremity, so that is a finger, a hand, a leg, an arm, or an ankle, toes, you can get a settlement check for any loss of range of motion to that body part a year after the date of accident or a year after surgery. So please give us a call today to find out more about your workers' compensation claim. It is also important to note that you have 2 years to file a workers' compensation claim. The statute of limitations on a workers' comp case is 2 years. So make sure that time does not run out on you. The telephone number is 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. Thank you.
When should you seek a workers' compensation attorney in New York? Most people seek an attorney when their claims are denied or they're receiving improper treatment for their injury. There are other reasons why you should speak to an attorney today, and I'll name a few. You should seek a workers' compensation attorney when your injury happened at work, but a third-party vendor, rather than your employer, is responsible. You should also speak to an attorney if a defective product caused your injury, making you potentially eligible to file a claim for product liability against its manufacturer. You should also speak to an attorney if you're the victim of toxic exposure, such as asbestos. You should also speak to an attorney if your employer knowingly violated the law and required employees to work in unsafe conditions. And you should speak to an attorney if you work for a very small employer who doesn't carry workers' compensation insurance. For a free case evaluation, call 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. Remember, the lawyer you hire does make the difference.
Ooh, my honey, you got me working.